This photo shows the actual plane just after Flight 17 took off from Amsterdam Schiphol Airport at 12:30 p.m. European time, bound for Kuala Lumpur. Nearly 3 hours later, Ukrainian air traffic controllers lost contact with the plane. The Ukrainian government quickly said the plane had been hit by a surface-to-air missile at 33,000 feet. At the time, the plane was over contested territory in eastern Ukraine, only 31 miles from the Russian border.
We know that the plane was travelling at an altitude of 10 kilometres, that's just over 6 miles, when it was downed. The Ukrainian Interior Ministry said a missile was fired by a Buk system. This is a tracked vehicle that can fire missiles up to 14,000 metres in the air with a range of 45 kilometres. Both Russian and Ukrainian forces have these systems.
The SA-11 is a tank with 4 very large surface-to-air missiles on the back. It's also got an integrated and quite powerful phased array radar as a part of the sort of whole setup. And yeah, there have been unconfirmed sightings of SA-11s around the Donetsk area in the last couple of days, so it's most likely to have been the system used to shoot this down.
The Buk SA-11 has a powerful radar which would have been scanning 360 degrees for targets.
Once they've decided on tracking and engaging a target, the pressure is then on to engage that target as fast as possible and then relocate.
Even with that pressure, it would be difficult to mistake a fighter jet for a passenger plane. But military transports, which have been targeted recently, can appear similar.
These are radar-guided missiles, so it will have essentially gone up close to the main body of the aircraft and then detonated on proximity fuse or warhead, which will have perforated the fuselage, the fuel tanks, engines, caused enough damage to take down the aircraft. And of course, civilian airliners are not armoured in any way, unlike military vehicles.
The pilots, crew and passengers would have had no warning. But NATO satellites and reconnaissance planes have been watching the conflict area and will now be combing it for a telltale missile flash and radar signal to piece together what happened. Tom Cheshire, Sky News.
Flight MH17 took off from Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam at 12:15 local time, that's 11:15 BST. It was on its way to Kuala Lumpur, due to arrive at 06:10 local Malaysian time. Data from Flight Radar 24 suggests the plane had just passed the city of Kremenchuk, around 300 kilometres, that's 186 miles from the Russian border, when it disappeared. Malaysian Airlines say the local air traffic controllers lost signal from the plane at 15:15 BST. It was last registered at 33,000 feet. It's thought that the crash site is near the village of Grabovo. Well, huge plumes of smoke have been seen over the crash site in eastern Ukraine. A Reuters correspondent on the ground has reported seeing dozens of bodies scattered around the smouldering wreckage, which they say is scattered over an area about 9 miles in diameter. Emergency service workers have said at least 100 bodies have been found so far. AFP is reporting there's no sign of any survivors at the site. The downed plane, MH17, a code share with KLM 4103, was carrying 280 passengers and 15 crew.
Before I begin, obviously the world is watching reports of a downed passenger jet near the Russia-Ukraine border. And it looks like it may be a terrible tragedy. Right now we're working to determine whether there were American citizens on board. That is our first priority. And I've directed my national security team to stay in close contact with the Ukrainian government. The United States will offer any assistance we can to help determine what happened and why. And as a country, our thoughts and prayers are with all the families of the passengers, wherever they call home.
Flight MH17 took off from Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam at 12:14 local time. That's 11:14 BST. It was on its way to Kuala Lumpur, due to arrive at 06:10 local Malaysian time. Data from Flight Tracker 24 suggests the plane had just passed the city of Kremenchuk. That's around 300 kilometres or 186 miles from the Russian border when it disappeared. Malaysian Airlines say the local air traffic controllers lost signal from the plane at 15:15 BST. It was last registered at 33,000 feet. It's thought the crash site is near the village of Grabovo.